Outlet with Kei-Touch is so excited to be here with Stephanie Coleman. She is the founder of Tre Magazine, the TreMag.com. Yes. We are in 3rd Ward at the Shape Community Center. Oh my gosh, Stephanie Coleman.
So great.
Welcome to the Outlet with Kei-Touch.
I'm so happy to be here. You are so awesome. 3rd Ward, historic 3rd Ward. It's a great time to have this conversation because so much is happening here, and I'm just glad to be here with you. I'm really excited.
I'm glad to be here with you too. Look, we're in the heart of 3rd Ward, H-Town, Texas. So happy to be home.
Yes.
Here with Stephanie. Let's get to it. The Tre Magazine, the TreMag.com. Stephanie.
Yes.
How did you get started with everything? I mean, how did this even come about? You starting a magazine because it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, we had magazines. We had Jet Magazine. We had Ebony Magazine.
Right.
It was always so great to have magazines representing our culture. It just gives you a sense of pride. And the covers, that's what it's all about, the covers. I know we're in a digital age, Stephanie, but talk to me. How did it all begin?
You know, you don't know how life takes you on a journey. I didn't see it coming. It wasn't like I was a little girl saying, I'm going to do a magazine. But I do like story. And as you said, when you grow up and you're reading it and you're knowing about us and you're imagining the possible. Well, who is this person? What did they do? Why are they? Can I be? Can I become what I'm reading about? And it sits in the back of your mind until you're ready. It's like seeds ready to sprout. And I had a background in graphic design. I had a background in advertising. Kind of always wanted to, I was one of the kids who, if you needed a bubble letter poster, that was me. If you needed a t-shirt with some design on it, like as a kid, that was me. And it grew into knowing that could be a career. That could be a job. Like you're not just the artsy one. You were actually like able to turn that into cash, to living, to growing. And Tre Magazine, as I'm going through life, I lived in New York. I did ad agency work. I started my own little thing there. And life happened, right? Life, moving, divorce, all those kind of things. And I said, I need to reset. And I came back to Houston and saw 3rd Ward for the first time as an adult. And as I'm going through that whole experience and all these great things that even I'm discovering with adult eyes, right? You walk past it. And then as an adult, you realize what that meant, who was there, who came before you, why it's still standing. And I was complaining about that loss. And I was at the bus stop with my son, dropping him off at school. And someone said, someone should do something. And they said, well, why don't you?
And did you say, why don't you?
And I said, well, because that was not really the point. We were just talking. But it really said, if we can rebrand shirts and jackets, we can rebrand ourselves. We can rebrand this neighborhood. We can remind people what H-Town is, what 3rd Ward is, who you are, who I am. And it just grew. It just grew. And I'm surprised 15 years later, we are still here. We're still standing. We're growing. And it's work. And I'm really just honored to be able to carry the light of the people. Like it's not my magazine. Tre is our magazine. We are all breathing life into it. When I meet you and you tell me of a story of someone I didn't know, that's the Tre. So that's how it started. It was really by surprise. It was really unexpected. And the love that it receives, it's just more than I really could expect. It's just wonderful.
It is, because I told my mom that I was interviewing you, and I said her magazine is the Tre Magazine.
Yeah.
She said, I've heard of that. I've seen that.
Good.
I said, wait a minute. So you are even impacting the senior citizens. I love it that she even knows about the Tre Magazine, and she's a TSU graduate.
Oh,
so,
yes.
she's very
tiger strong, tiger proud.
But it was some real interesting things that you said. You said you came back home and you saw Third Ward in Houston probably overall for what it is.
Yeah.
And when you live somewhere and grow up, you kind of forget, or even just like living somewhere, like I live in the DC area. It's all these things to do. And unfortunately, I don't do it until people come in town, right?
True.
And I'm like, this is such an amazing city.
Yeah.
Same with Houston. You grow up in Houston, you take things for granted. And then when you leave is when you notice how culturally different we are. And it's just amazing.
I mean, even when we first connected, it was like, oh, you know Houston. You can't teach that. I mean, you can come and enjoy it. I welcome everybody to come and love and experience it. But there is something in your heart when you know, like you grew up with Houston love, when you grew up with Houston struggle, whatever that is. Like, it's not that it's without its own challenges, as any life in any city, in any places. But there is something that's uniquely home. And to meet someone else who understands uniquely home, it's a great feeling. So, yes, H-Town, Houston, Third Ward, for your mom to even know, oh, TSU, okay. Yates, okay. I get it, Frenchies.
Oh my goodness, Frenchies. Let's talk about Frenchies. Around since 1969, serving the best yard bird in the city, okay? I love it. In Tre Magazine, the TreMag.com is capturing, embracing the culture here in Houston.
Yes. And spreading it out, right? It's one thing to say Houston is Houston. But understand, just like the New York Times is global, Houston is global. This is just where it took root. It took root in the Tre, just like our emancipation took root in Galveston.
Right.
It didn't stay there. For all of us who are elated, it did not stay there. And I pray with, I'm excited for these conversations, how might we enhance the conversations that you're doing, because it doesn't stay where it's rooted. It grows from there, and it plants seeds from there, and generations, what you're doing, what we're doing, what we do together, will plant seeds that we couldn't even imagine. Because just as we read and we were inspired at 6 and 8 and 10, someone's watching and reading the Tre, and and experiencing Kei-Touch. I could be that. Yeah. Yes, you can.
And that's funny you say that, because this is something I always say. I say it's one thing to tell a child, you can be anything you want to be. It's another to show them an example of someone who looks like you and has been through a harder struggle in a different time period than you that did it. Right?
It changes everything. It changes it from hoping to knowing. I know I can do that.
Yes.
Because I met Kei-Touch. I spoke to, I feel, she reminds me of. I can do that, and I can be myself. I don't know about those who are watching now, but wearing natural hair, you didn't think you could do that and be you 20 years ago. That was
right.
I mean, there was a period before that, but there was a season where then I'd have to beg for the opportunity. This next group can make it. They can carry cameras in their backpack. They can move. Oh, it's just a beautiful time to inspire.
And that's important. And capturing the history.
Yes.
And I'm talking about history in the making, history of the past. Capturing the living legends of today and spreading that word is so important. I mean, look at even Juneteenth, for example, right? When I first got into the military and started traveling, no one knew about Juneteenth. It was almost like a Texas thing. It wasn't until about 5 years ago the word really spread. And it's important that with this digital age that we're in, we keep spreading the word. So tell me, I know Tre Mag, the TreMag.com has hard copy. What's the digital presence of the TreMag.com?
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you said that. So the TreMag.com, it started out print because I believe in the archive, right? Like no one can erase that. It's not someone else's platform. And that was at the heart of what I thought made it concrete and real. And then I realized, like what you're saying, that people outside of the trade or people from the trade who lived in DC or who lived in California were asking for it. When people started to tell me that they had it, and I said, oh yeah, no, I read it in Atlanta. It's like, how'd you read it in Atlanta? It's in a barbershop. So the trade citizens, those who embraced it, were literally like Johnny Appleseeds. They were grabbing stacks and dropping them off in the airports as they traveled. They were dropping it off in places that they went to visit, and it became national by the people. I mean, it was a vision, but they said, oh, this is my trade. I'm making sure, and I find out about it, which makes me grow. So the digital presence, what we've always wanted to do, talk about technology, we can now do. So the site is being rebuilt. It's now live, and it allows you to share your story. So it's not just us talking to community. If you have an amazing story, because you are living history, that you want to upload onto the TreMag.com, you can go to the TreMag.com, click on add a story, add a post, and add your video, add your story, add your legacy. So now you're a part of the living archive.
Wow.
So that makes it now there's some editing and we have some pieces so we can keep the standard, but you are a part of what we're searching to tell the story of. And that is, I think, there's one win to the digital presence. Of course, and then we put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but getting that tool finally so that more than one voice is heard, but we're having a conversation that people can talk, that the 8-year-old can be published. That's a huge thing. As a journalist, how hard is it to get published? How hard is it as a college grad to get a job in journalism if you've never been qualified in journalism? If your school paper no longer prints, which is what is the case at Jack Yates, the School of Communication. So how are you a magnet school for communication and you're not producing a paper in years? And then you're supposed to get into they're not going to take you serious. Now they might blame it on we might do a DEI. Well, we don't need a DEI initiative for a program that you intentionally failed. When we can just, we can't fight the brokenness, but we can build in spite of the brokenness. So the website, thetremag.com, I invite everyone to come to that, to get your voice as a part of it. So now Tre can understand what the world is doing, and the world can understand and pour back into the Tre. So that's where we are.
I love it. I love it. And it's just amazing. Everyone who knows me knows I'm from Houston.
Yes.
Wherever I go, right? I have so much Houston pride. And what is just so amazing to me is that people love Houston. Every time I say I'm from Houston, oh yeah, really? Oh man, I got to get out there. Oh, I went there. The food is so good. People are so nice. The culture here is just amazing. Yeah. When you walk down the street, people are saying hi to you, and it makes you feel unified, especially in the Black community. Yeah. We have to speak to each other more. Yeah. We have to. And let me just say this. Look, if you have an interesting story, go to thetremag.com, click over, upload a story, and get your story told. This is for the people, okay? Well, of course, we're going to focus on Black people and lifting us up, but this is for everyone. If you want to learn more about what's going on, because we have to control our narrative. We have to control our story. How much history are we just finding out about? So many people just learned of the Black Wall Street after they did those documentaries a couple of years ago. I learned about it in the 90s, but it was hidden for so many years. And we have to look as a people how much and how far we've come in the past 100 years. 100 years ago, the Harlem Renaissance was thriving. Thriving.
Right.
Thriving. Okay? And I mean, they couldn't bury that. They couldn't bury that.
It's still pulsing. It's still pulsing.
Yeah. So the TreMag.com.
That's it.
So Stephanie, tell me some of the exciting things you have done at the Tre Mag, something that just comes to mind that just energizes you and you're just like, oh, I'm so proud I did this.
Well, I'm going to say this week, as a Texan, I think you can appreciate one of our first activities was a trail ride.
Oh, girl. Oh, my goodness. I have history with those. The trail ride, I just had to tell people when I go outside of Houston, you know we have black cowboys.
Lots of black cowboys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had an uncle, my Uncle Rogers in Louisiana. He had 2 horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know about that.
In the backyard, he had a stable. In my grandparents' backyard, had 2 horses. And he did trail rides. Yeah. And I mean, he wore the jeans, the boots all the time, the hat, the shirt, the long sleeve shirt, and rode horses. And you go on a trail ride, and at the end, oh, it's going to be food. It's either going to be a cowboy stew
it's going to be food.
So tell us about that trail ride.
Well, that is the beauty for those who don't know, just like you said, that history that's living. The fact that the boy in cowboy was us. That it didn't have, if it was a cow hand.
That was the original term.
But we, those who really trained and those who really broke in the horses, that was a derogatory term. Just like they said, boy, go get that water. Well, that's a cowboy. So it was black male and females who created, who the term cowboy went about being defined as. So then to be able to say, let's not only was it derogatory, but then it was denied us. So now you don't even see a black cowboy when they use the word. You see the word cowboy, but you never see our image attached to it. So when I sort of discovered that, just like Juneteenth and all those, like, our oral history is powerful. You might not be able to put it in a book, but we don't need it to keep the truth going, right? So I came back to Houston, was doing the book, and just saw all the cowboys, ate all the food, you know, and just saw how beautiful and how many cowboys, how many generations. Molly Stevenson's ranch, if anyone hasn't met, 100 years of owning the land, generation.
Where's that at?
It's right at Alameda. Yeah. You take Alameda all the way out. It's on your right. It's the American Cowboy Museum. Amazing space, amazing land, amazing legacy, still alive. I'm not going to tell Molly's age.
Okay.
Not my spot.
Yes.
But the idea, so then we said, well, let's bring the cowboys back into the city. So we did a parade that sort of went around 3rd Ward on a Sunday. The trail riders came out. We started at a space called Pilgrim UCC. It's a church in 3rd Ward. The constables came. The people came. The Zydeco was playing. The music was... Everybody, just in case you've never been, everybody got a Go Texan outfit. Everybody in Houston has some rodeo boot outfit already in the closet.
Ready to wear.
But when the moment comes, they all came. It was the most extraordinary even welcome back to me to say this is Houston. Right? These are doctors and lawyers and cowboys. You know, cowboys who happen to be doctors and lawyers. It depends on how you ask.
How you look at it. Right.
And they were loved. We went by CUNY Homes. We went by Wheeler Avenue Church. We came by Shape. And just the people. We went by PABA, which is the boxing club that's here. Just the people came out to be a part of celebrating their people and the legacy. And the little kids who could ride, the adults. So that is my favorite memory of the magazine. That is my most iconic, because even for Juneteenth, when I've learned how the story really went, right? No one released us after sitting there long enough. Black cowboys got on their horses and came and informed us that we were free. And that is the true story of Juneteenth. That's that self-determination. We said, well, I got the proclamation and I understand the order and I'm going to follow it to a point. And then those men got on their horses. And if you go to the Juneteenth Museum in Galveston, you will see the article that says Black I think it says Black Cowboys ride into to tell this news. So it's not that I say it or I feel it. There is paper.
Proof.
Proof that we were cowboys. Proof that that's how the word spread. And proof that paper and storytelling matters. Like, so that is my best. That is my best. And if anyone else has, like I said, come to the TreMag.com. If you have stories where you know, then share it so someone else can pick up on that legacy. And maybe they can do the rest of the research to now begin to archive what was denied so that 3 more generations can say, oh, that's my people, right? Or even if it's not, I can walk to you and treat you well. Because I understand you don't come from what I see as a stereotype. You come from this. And you should know that. That's what the movie Black Panther, I think, reminded us. Who we came from, not just the royalty, but just a sense of
Pride.
Yeah.
Because and that's important because we always hear about the ancestry of slavery, right? But there's so much more. So much more.
Yeah, that's such a tiny piece.
So tiny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you tell a child, hey, your ancestors were slaves and that's it, you're already oppressing that child mentally.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But when you talk about the heroes and the sheroes of the struggle, the living legends today, the history, and I just have to share this real quick.
Yes.
When I decided, when I watched the movie Hidden Figures, that changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
I just could not believe this happened. And these women did so much. They were called computers, okay?
Yes.
They did so much for our space program, getting us to the moon.
Yes.
And we didn't know it.
We didn't know it.
I said, wow. Just like you were called into action, I was too.
Okay.
I said, I have to do something. I got ticked off into action. So get ticked off into action. And if you have a story, go to TreMag.com. Click upload a story.
Yes.
And share your story. It will be edited, so don't worry about grammar. I mean, we want to do our best, but just know your story is not going to go out there looking crazy.
Right.
Okay.
That's
it will be
way.
proofread.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing it out of love. We're not doing it out of editing your voice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's so funny that sort of fighting into action it's a powerful motivator. Houston, NASA, right? So we right here.
Lyndon Johnson Space Center.
You do
very well.
How many field trips did you take? I mean, that's a part of our. And I just remember as a kid, I'd be in the bookstore, I'm a book lover. I was like, no bloody chocolate. I just couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine in this whole program for years as a child. They don't have a book that has just there's no chocolate. There was no janitor. There was no one chocolate in the space program. And I just couldn't reconcile it. And they would put up these posters and no administrative assistant. And so when Hidden Figures did come out, I think there was 2 parts that were shocking. A, that it existed, but the amount of work that you had to do to deny that those women were there. That is a institutional, right? When people talk about the bias and the DEI and the thing. No. You institutionally committed to hiding this truth way deep in a basement to deny the right to their kids, to celebrate their parents, to deny the right to their grandkids, to celebrate their grandparents. That is a very hurtful institutional behavior that community is now saying you don't have to necessarily apologize, but you have to acknowledge that was not accidental, right? That was not, we just overlooked that. You had to erase that, right? You had to erase it. So that anger to speak the story, it's almost, if there's any way to redeem ourselves, then let's just share it. Let's just share how amazing, right? Everyone is. And it is everybody. It's every gender, it's every race, it's made for everyone. The Tre is about a spirit. It happens to be Third Ward, Texas, for those who don't know. It happens to be home of this legacy and talent. But it's also the spirit of the Tre that transcends this land that the Tre is all about.
And I just have to give some quick history for those who don't know about Third Ward, Houston, Texas. So Third Ward is leading you right into downtown Houston. It's at the center of the city. And I want to say it was in the 30s or 40s. We had a lot of Black lawyers and doctors, professionals buy property in Third Ward. And this was not originally a Black community. But when we moved in, they moved out. And it's been a blessing that it hasn't been gentrified. And that we still have these Black professionals in Third Ward, Houston, Texas, South Side. You gotta say South Side of Houston. I love everybody on the north side. I have a lot of family on the north side, South Side. Okay? And I love how Beyonce always throwing up the Tre.
Doesn't she?
Always representing Houston. And that's a beautiful thing for so many people from Houston to have so much pride, even when they transcend and become global. And another thing, shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. You know, I was so proud of her for going back to school, the rise of her career. And people say, oh, well, she says this and say that. Actions. Look at the actions. Look at her actions. Because her influence, you know what she did? She's showing young girls, young women, even some older women, right? Look, I do this and I'm making my money. But at the same time, I'm making millions and I'm going to school. So what does that say to a young girl, a young fan of hers? And they're like, I want to be like Megan.
And she didn't have to share that part. She could have.
Because a lot of people been to school, but they don't share it.
They don't share it. But she came back and said, I missed this part. And I'm publicly saying, no, I don't have that degree. No, I don't. But I know it's important, and I'm going to let you know. No judgment on how you didn't finish it. But there's always time to go back. And you're right. Like, that is a very noble way to go back and just publicly. I mean, she could have bought a degree. She could have just, but
got the honorary, because look, so many people get those, and there's nothing wrong with that. Shout out to everybody with honorary degrees. But her going back at the rise of her career as it's just taken off was just so inspirational to me.
And to an HBCU, she came
Texas
back to
Southern.
Texas Southern.
And where's TSU at?
In Third Ward.
In Third Ward.
In the Tre.
and for those who don't know, we really have the separate but equal thing going on, right? You have TSU, you have a street that separates, I want to say a field from U of H, right? From TSU. But University of Houston is in University, and TSU is in Third Ward. Then you go down the street to College Station. You got Texas A&M and Prairie View A&M. Separate but equal. That still exists. But we were so proud of our HBCUs. And one thing I want everyone to remember, if anyone talks to you and say, oh, well, Black people are ignorant, or give you that impression, or you have that impression, why is it that we have over 100 HBCUs open today? And if it's historical, by definition, it's over 50 years old. Know that part.
And the magic, the sort of magic of it all, which I was really surprised. Not only do we have that legacy, but we're producing doctors and lawyers and attorneys and business owners for generations in institutions that are underfunded, undersupported, that only were created. Texas Southern used to be the Negro University. They in our lifetime changed that designation. That is only state funded because they did not want Negroes at the state school. It wasn't that we didn't get it because they wanted to support it. We got it because they did not want us to integrate. So that is a concept, and that in spite of that, Texas Southern is still standing, growing. People are pouring in. I understand. I mean, integration is a wonderful piece, but a safe space where your story can be told and it's okay to be you. And Texas Southern and all the other HBCUs are saying, here's a safe space for anybody to come and to be you. There's a lot of stories, but you do not hear HBCUs in their history having students of any color come there and be hazed, hurt because of their race. Even in our worst time in this country, anyone can go to an HBCU and be brought into community. They don't come back with trauma that they were abused. They might be a part of a frat.
Right. Sorority they didn't know they were going to join. Yeah.
But they're in community. My dad, when he graduated, the class before him was the first to integrate.
Wow.
And could you imagine? Right? So this ain't legacy. This is living history. He could point them out in the neighborhood and say they were never the same after they went. Because they were treated so horrifically, right? They were treated so wrong by the people in those schools that he did not want to integrate. He was like, I don't want to have to go through that for people who don't want me there, to hurt me, so that I can put something on paper. When I can be in the marching band at Texas Southern, Ocean of Soul.
Ocean of Soul. Wait a minute. Wait, I gotta just okay. Shout out to Madison High School. I was in the marching band in Madison High School, Harm Clark High, and it was so great because our band director had close ties to Texas Southern University, and we would get our music from TSU.
Oh, that's great.
We would actually watch band tapes of Southern.
Yes.
Southern, I just got to tell you, Southern created it all. Like the standard for HBCU marching bands and high school marching bands.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Texas, everything is big in Texas, right? So for high school, all the varsity games are played at stadiums. Butler Stadium was one of my favorites, right? So it was just a wonderful thing to be able for him to be able to reach out and get music to give to us. And look at how that HBCU is contributing to high schools in the area. And as you know, you get kids excited. You want to keep them excited, especially about the arts. That is our history.
That is our history. And you're right. That was the library. That was the mentorship. That was the ecosystem that the high school band instructors knew, the conductors, that they can go to the college. That the college instructors knew that they were not just doing this for us. We are passing this down to the high school to teach at the church for the babies to be able to know music by tone, by you're reading music. This is not just some impromptu.
And I know you might watch those D1 schools, right? Division I schools, and they have paper when they're marching. No, we have to memorize all our music. It's a big deal.
You can't do the dance with the tuba.
No, it's a whole nother. Yes. My goodness.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. And for those who come, you can still hear TSU practice at night. It's just for as long as I've been, right? As long as I've been alive, I have gone to band with TSU's band practicing. I don't know how.
Setting off car alarms and everything. Those bass drums, cutting up.
They put it in there and they're all night.
Yes, but this is culture. Culture, and we're talking about the TreMag.com, the Tre Magazine, out of the heart of Third Ward. Yes. Love it. We are here at Shape Community Center. It is just a beautiful thing. It's all about community, all about sharing. Stephanie, tell me, what do you see on the horizon for the TreMag.com?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to grow. And I have to admit, I'm in a good space, but it becomes a lot. There are many a times, and I say this in truth to any entrepreneur, where I have picked up the tray and I have put it down. The weight of entrepreneurship can be a lot. And I think I'm really blessed that it lifts, that community lifts, because I do quit. I do say, God, you couldn't have made it this heavy. You couldn't have made it this complicated. But in another breath, he gives friendship, and he gives hope, and he gives ways, and he reminds you, drink your water, get some sleep.
Drink your water, get some sleep.
Right? So on the horizon with that is one balance. Two, really letting community know that it's here for you, that it's not just me. And also we are doing some things on TV. I've expanded some podcasts, getting some streaming, because there are too many stories. There's too many stories just for print. We're also launching the Tre Nation. Right?
Okay, talk to me about the Tre Nation. Stephanie Coleman, what's going on?
So, as you described, entrepreneurship is in our blood. It's in our spirit. It's real.
Yes.
But our stories are different. How we celebrate our small businesses, how we celebrate and support, especially in this economy. Especially, let's say, well, we're not gonna elevate what we did wrong. So now you just have to go figure it out. You know, one thing community does is it supports local and it supports self. So we want to help nurture that. So the Tre Nation, which will be the trenation.com, launching January, is going to be a place for businesses, local and beyond, to be able to talk about their services, and also for people to share when they have an event. That's such a major problem for our gap between being the best cook in the kitchen to a restaurant owner. There's this challenge in that gap where, okay, I want people to buy, but I'm not ready to open a storefront. Okay, well, here's a micro store. Or I've built these great, I've built these great shirts, but I don't have enough to open a store. So this online, as you described, virtual world is a place where we can even celebrate others places that do that. There's the Black Market. I don't know if you've visited that since you've been here, but it's a store that celebrates all these micro, major, impressive Black vendors and just gives them shelf space. There's Dorado right here in 3rd Ward. That's a very nice, in the El Dorado, a restaurant that has that space. But how do we let people know that it's here?
Wow.
How do we let people support 3rd Ward even if they can't come? Okay, well, here's where you find the places. You know, Houston's neat, but it's hard to navigate. If you don't know what corners, you got to get in the car and drive. You got to come.
You have to have a car.
You got.
In Houston. You have to.
It's a 30-minute commitment. So the Tre Nation is a way to not only help them be connected, but also to explain media. To say, if you want people to know about it, let's do a photo shoot so that they can see how beautiful it looks. It takes a beautiful photograph. To see what you're selling, it takes a beautiful way for you to learn how to tell story. And this is a safe space to cultivate that. So then you'll be ready to be a guest on a podcast, or then you'll be ready to be a supporter on a TV interview, because you'll understand how to not just do the product, but how do you engage with people to sell the product. And so the trenation.com is on the horizon, and just following the flow, listening to the people and whatever they're looking for and buying. Hopefully we can, if not provide support so they can build it. I'll have to build everything.
But this is beautiful because I hear your advertising background coming in, helping people connect the dots, helping business owners connect the dots to become successful. Yeah. This is great. This is so exciting. I love positive things that we are doing, and unfortunately, they're not highlighted enough. We only see the majority of the negative things that we're doing. So, Houston business owners, small business owners,
join us.
You have an advertising professional. She didn't just say, "Oh, this is, 20, what year did you start? 07, and we have computers and internet, and I'm just going to start a magazine." No, it was a process. It was a journey. She has the experience, the background, and knows how to connect the dots.
Yes.
TheTreMag.com. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, purple, green, The Tre Mag, because there's only one race, the human race.
Oh, I love
only one. God created us all. Think about it. If I can't donate blood because I'm anemic, but if I could, or somebody could donate blood to me, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, as long as
that's
a match.
Very good point. That's a great baseline for it, because that is at the core of what we have in common. That is That's beautiful. I'm using now. I will.
Yes.
I'll give you credit.
It's all good. But that's what it's about. Sharing.
Yeah.
Sharing.
Yeah.
So just like I said, sharing, right?
Yes.
So one of the big things for me is sharing information. I don't believe people should walk through life and have to experience everything to learn.
Yeah.
You should be able to learn from other people's mistakes. You should be able to learn from other people's experience and other people's wisdom. So that being said, Stephanie, I want you to share something that someone should know before starting a small business. One little nugget, one thing to consider people may not think about, whether it has to do with just startup costs or locations or whatever. Talk to me, share that info with the people.
Yes. Well, I think it's about if there was one thing I would say, it's about a tribe. It's about building a tribe. Not only the tribe to get you through where you are, but the uncomfortable tribe to get you to where you want to go.
Ooh.
I think that was my biggest lesson. Like I had a tribe, it worked. It was a team 100. And I had the passion, right? But it takes people. And so what tribe is the best one that scales you from 0 to 100? Might not be the best tribe to scale you from 100 to 10,000. And to know that just like you have a personal trainer who tells you to do one more set, do more sets, you're not going to necessarily be familiar or comfortable with what it takes to get to that next level. But you do have to trust that you pick, which is then back on self, that you pick the right tribe that can help you navigate that next step. So if there was one nugget I would say is to really pick the nice tribe and to cut your losses early. I don't care if they went to third grade with you. If you see red flags, just cut your losses early. Because not every group is comfortable, as you know, with media. So whatever you're doing, when you get behind stage, some people work and some people go crazy, right? Some people become starstruck instead of a supporter of the star or in service of. And to just sort of be aware of that this tribe is good at this role, but maybe not healthy in this role, right? You know about that life. And to own your own leadership and say, you will meet us after the show, right? Or you are not allowed on this bus. And it's okay for you, but it's also okay for them. So it's best for them. So that was my one thing. Just pick your tribe.
I love it. And the thing is, just because someone's your friend doesn't mean they should come with you. And even if they helped you in the beginning, and that's good. You know, everything has a season. Yeah. Some people's seasons are longer than others. And you appreciate them, you love them. But like you said, cut your losses early. Yeah. Pay attention, because this is your baby. Yeah. This is your baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I already know. Look, we said a lot. That was a loaded statement. But understand, and it's fine. You can have family and friends that you adore. But that doesn't mean they need to work with you.
No. And if we take ourselves out of our closeness, I can't go work at any place. I'm not even name brands around it, but be a fast food chain or a corporation. I can't just bring my cousin in there because I'm at work, he's at work with me. So if we treat our own businesses the way we are taught to respect the institutions when we work for them, there would be a lot of people we don't bring in to certain roles because we wouldn't bring them in to those jobs in those roles. So why in your baby, let alone your divine assignment? Because if you can't sleep without doing it, it's not you. There's a greater direction. There's a greater force that's compelling you to do this assignment while you have time on this planet. And you're going to let, someone who used to play jacks with be a barrier. Someone who bought you lunch in third grade be a barrier for what your divine assignment is. I don't know. I don't want to answer to that.
The choice is yours.
Right.
The choice is yours.
It is.
That was a great nugget. Great nugget.
Yeah.
But back to the business owners.
Mm-hmm.
TreMag.com.
Yes.
You have an advertising professional.
Yes.
On hand. She's just not just the founder. No. She knows what she's doing. 15 years of anything speaks volumes. Again, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks to people.
TreMag.com, TreMag.com,
yes.
and share your stories.
Yes.
If there's something interesting, share it. Share it. Yes. Because there's no point in just knowing things. And that's why anybody who talks to me, they're going to learn something. Mm-hmm. Because I believe in sharing information. Information is power.
Right.
But they used to say that, why do you think they did not want black people, slaves, to read?
Because they knew.
And not just the slaves. A lot of people were illiterate after that. It was a reason.
Of all races.
It was a reason.
Right.
There's so much power in being able to read things for yourself. Mm-hmm. It's so much power in education because no one can take away what's here. No one. They can take away your job. They can do this and do that. But you'll always have that.
Yes. There's a neat statistic that I read, and I'm going to destroy the numbers, so just roll with me.
Okay.
But it was talking about sort of Reconstruction. And there was some extraordinary number, like 92% of the enslaved African Americans could not read. But after like 4 years, it was like 82 could. I was like, the people could read in the beginning. Right?
They couldn't tell.
They couldn't tell. So even at that point, that you would have that level of oppression, that death, that destruction would come from you being able to read, that you had to hide it. There's power. There's power in the literacy. There's power in the ability to comprehend. There's just power in knowing where you are in this world. And I'm just really grateful to even be able to share these stories, the platform that you have built. There is power in that experience, and you just can't make it up. You study, you do. People who haven't seen you behind the scenes don't know how much work it takes before you press record, how much work it takes before you press play, how much work in between with the editing and you master that craft. You study that craft, and to be able to see it so that it looks easy doesn't deny the fact that it took skill and practice and continued growth as technology changes. And I just think people should admire and know that this does not just happen. This journey of entrepreneurship, this journey of, even if you only do it on church on Sunday, that does not happen just because you woke up. It happens because you read, because you research, because you read multiple sources, because you trust the source and then you don't trust the source. It happens because you are invested. And I'm just glad to be in the room, and I hope there's more that we can do with that kind of energy around our platforms and investing and community pouring in and us sharing and showing, because it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Absolutely. You already know. That's what it's all about. Kei-Touch. Stephanie Coleman, TreMag.com. So much more to come in 2025. I'm just so excited. This is so cool. I'm just really excited about everything that you are doing with the Tre Mag. And we actually have. Grab the other one, ma'am. The Tre Mag. This is official. Look at this.
Celebrates all the excellence, all the culture, history, present, past, and future.
Yes. Up close. We want that up close and personal. I just love it. And then on the back, made in the USA. Juneteenth. What does it say? Juneteenth 2021. The evolution of the revolution. TreMag.com. This is official. I love it.
And just so you know, even on some, we talk about legacy, listening, and learning. We even put the official, of course, it's designed, I'm sure they didn't have all these graphics, Juneteenth proclamation as a reminder daily that not only do we have past history and present history, but we have to know, did our origin start here, stop here? But this is an amazing part of how we define ourselves, especially in Houston.
And I just have to say real quick, shout out to the late Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who had a lot of work to do with ensuring Juneteenth became a holiday. I know she worked with our current Vice President, Kamala Harris, and others to make sure this was accomplished. May she rest in peace.
She changed the way we all do business. And I want to even say, when we talk about Representative Al Edwards, who also was one of the founders of Juneteenth. He was the father of Juneteenth. His home is in Third Ward, Texas. Just letting you know, right? So Sheila Jackson Lee, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, and that's what you were saying earlier about that legacy. That they built a foundation that we can stand on. That was built on a foundation that someone else built for them to stand on, and it got us to today. It got us to where we can say it, where it's a holiday, right? A federal holiday. Do you know how long they have kept this torch burning? I don't know who handed it to them or why they woke up and said, I'm going to pick this up, but they didn't have to. Just like the movie put fire under you, something put fire under them. And we are all in a better place because of it. So,
and just 5 years ago, most people did not know about Juneteenth. I would talk about it all the time because I've never heard of that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. So, and that's a beautiful thing because that's the one great thing about technology and being in the digital age. You can share this information across the world in seconds.
Yes.
What a beautiful thing.
It is a wonderful. No, I'm just so excited when you talk about that sharing, that we can keep it, that we can grow it, that we can celebrate it, that we can elevate it, that it can get the voices that it's around, that it deserves to know around the world, the technology, the artists. So I'll throw some names just because I'm proud of them. Although Robert Glasper is not technically from Houston, he's Houston-ish. He's an H-Town love. I mean, he's in the Houston area. The cities are close enough. But we have Jason Moran, who's from Houston. We have not only the Beyoncés and the Megan Thee Stallions, but just so many historic figures that have called Houston homes. Lightning Hopkins.
Michael Strahan.
I
mean, he went from, Yates High School, Texas Southern University, NFL. Good Morning America.
Debbie Allen,
Felicia Rashad.
There's some amazing and beautiful people. And you have a Tre in your neighborhood. So we are a Tre, but wherever you are, begin to celebrate your Michael Strahans, your Megan Thee Stallions, your Sheila Jackson Lees, your Reverend Lawsons. Like, begin to uplift your parents, your grandparents, because they are.
And I just have to say this about Michael Strahan. Don't be afraid to go to a HBCU because you don't know if you'll make it professionally. If you are great, they will find you. They will find you. And this man has made it to Good Morning America. The sky's the limit. Do not put yourself in a box. You're you. You're the only you there is.
And if they don't take you, then make your own way. Right?
Find a way, make a way.
Find a way, make a way. It's okay if they're not ready for your shine, but it does not mean that you don't shine.
Yes.
It takes,
I got it.
It takes a minute for them to see it, if they see it at all. You can see it when people transition. So people love you, but then when you leave and they can understand it, then they admire you. Okay, if you had to wait for them to finally come up to speed, you would miss the rainbow.
and this is the quote I came up with just last week. I haven't even posted it yet, right? I said, you weren't born to fit in. You're here to create the trend. So don't feel bad if you don't feel like you fit. You're supposed to inspire somebody else. Just be you, be the best you there is. And don't deviate from who you are. And if you feel that you're not inspired, and I really want to talk to our youth real quick. If you don't know your passion, hang around somebody who does, and maybe you'll find yours. Okay? That's what it's all about.
That is it.
And another thing, if you're the smartest person in your circle, you need to switch it up. And it's not about, I'm better than this person or that. It's because if you're the smartest person, you're the only one giving.
Yes.
And you're not receiving. Relationships, and this isn't intimate, but any relationship is a relationship. It works both ways. It's give and take.
Yes.
So surround yourself with people who know things you don't know.
Yeah.
Or know about things you don't know.
Yeah.
For our business owners, entrepreneurs, the tech startups, all of that.
Yeah.
Get around people that know things that you don't know and need to know, or that can help you. You might not need to know it, but you need to have it.
Yes.
Surround yourself with those type of people, and I promise your hard days will even make you smile.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you on that. And they will pull you through when you don't know where to go next, because they know. I'm sure if you went to Michael Strahan and said, "Well, I'm looking to understand camera angles," oh, he knows something about that, because that's what he does now. That's what he does well, and he does it on a very different level. If I go to to anyone in political office, and I'm asking how this policy works, well, this is what they do, and this is what they do well, then but I have to be open to learning.
Yes.
That's a whole skill set. You have to be open to knowing that you don't know.
You don't know.
And it's okay.
And there are thousands of libraries of books that you don't know, and it's okay. It's okay.
That's a good point.
Thousands.
Yeah. Be open to the not knowing. So it's just a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time to be
alive.
Yes. Alive. And to be surrounded by, like I said, I always like to be candid. Like, it has its ride, right? It has its day where you're just like, there is no way I can see out of it. There's no way I can navigate it. But again, as you say, with a tribe, as you say, well, because it's not supposed to be an I. Right? It's supposed to be a collective, and you just need to find the right collective. So I make my mistakes. I kind of get in my little focus zone, and it gets too tight. Then I am reminded, be it external forces. I mean, I'm not always just waking up profoundly clear, right? But you meet people, and they remind you that that's why we are put here with people.
And let me just sum what you just set up, right? If you want to go fast, go along. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
Outlet with Kei-Touch was just so excited to be here with Stephanie Coleman, TheTreMag.com, TheTreMag.com, right out of 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas, South Side. I just love it, Stephanie. It has been an absolute pleasure. And we can find you on social media.
At the Tre Mag on all platforms. So,
make it easy.
And make it easy. We got in early. So at the Tre Mag, and soon to launch, TheTreNation.com.
TheTreNation.com. Yes, I can't wait to interview you again. Stephanie Coleman, Kei-Touch, H-Town, Texas.